Well, on a Friday night and the smell of popcorn, and of course whenever we play LSU, there were 90,000 people there when we were playing. So it was I think the largest steel stadium in the country, and held about 90,000 people, and it was packed when we play LSU. So it was pretty doggone exciting. And I'd like to see Tulane go back to a smaller stadium on campus, though.
Yeah, have that campus filling with grass and that tailgate excitement. One more thing, Steve, I want to ask you your opinion of Brandon Marshall. Are you happy for him? He had that great game Sunday with all the stuff that was going on prior to him coming back.
Well, I am. I'm glad that, Coach McDaniels took a pretty hard stance. And he's recovering from an off-season injury. And, of course, nobody was really going to trade for him because they want to see if he's healthy. So he threw a couple of tantrums, and Coach McDaniel didn't. He's a young guy, 33 years old, got to hand it to him. He stood up and said, you know what, go to the sidelines. You're not playing.
Steve, I appreciate
he'll do well.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on tonight. Anything to say to any of the New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lafayette audience that's watching tonight? I know that you still keep up with the high school prep scene here and college football.
I do, and as I've grown older, I've always liked LSU and Tulane and the schools from Louisiana and the Saints. Even when I was playing with Denver, wanted to see the Saints do well. The Saints are my pick to go to the Super Bowl this year. I think they got it all if they can stay healthy, and hopefully LSU can make a run for the national title.
Yeah, and Steve, appreciate it. Thank you for coming on. We're going to send you a copy of the show, and we're going to have it on our website, and we're going to send the gifts to you for coming on, too, tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Enjoyed it.
Thank you. That was Steve Foley, former Denver Bronco great, all-time leading interception leader, considering they've had Steve Atwater, currently Champ Bailey, 44 interceptions, played 11 seasons for the Denver Broncos as a safety, Tulane All-American quarterback, Jesuit alumnus. We'll be back with head coach Tut Mushmack from St. John High School.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat everyone from those who serve ACEs to those who serve others. Now with 7 locations to serve you. If your doctor recommends physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name. The physical therapy choice of tennis players, waitresses, and everyone in between.
A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. What's yours? Balance. Strength. Agility. Power. What's holding you back? Get fit with Reaction Sports Training, specializing in customized programs for the athlete in you.
I'm a foot specialist.
I treat spines.
I treat knees.
I do shoulders.
Joint replacement.
And I practice.
We all choose to practice
at the Bone and Joint Clinic,
where it's more like a family.
One convenient place.
And appointments in days, not weeks.
Because our job has always been
to make you comfortable
for more than 60 years.
Louisiana Office Supply is the largest stocking office product store in the South with a new 23,000 square foot showroom. For over 72 years, Louisiana Office Supply has met the demand for quality office products, competitively priced with an extensive selection and knowledgeable staff. From office furniture to Post-it notes, there are supplies for every part of your office. Louisiana Office Supply, generation after generation, exceptional service since 1936.
Don't be left without power this hurricane season. Central Plumbing Company is now a Briggs & Stratton generator sales, installation, and service provider. Affordable Briggs & Stratton generator systems come with a 4-year warranty. That's twice as long as the leading competitor's brand. You can keep your cool because Briggs & Stratton generators allow you to use your central air in power outages. And when you buy a Briggs & Stratton generator from Central Plumbing, you'll get prompt, preferred service even during an emergency. So get prepared this hurricane season at Central Plumbing Company. Now at 7000 Greenwell Springs Road, 925-8552.
Go to LAFootballmagazine.com. We have an article on Aaron Thibodeau from Monroe, Louisiana. Also, we have a story on Bubby Brister. We've got an article tomorrow that you'll like to read. Every day we have an article, lafootballmagazine.com. Write us questions. We have a question of the week later in the show. If you send me a question, if it's legal to put on air, I'll put it on air and I'll answer it, just like they do on the news channels. I'll mention whatever is bothering you or what you like to be answered. Now, I want to go ahead and go to Coach Tut Mushmack, the head coach from St. John High School in Plaquemine.
How you doing, Lee?
Tut, nice to see you again.
You too.
I want to go ahead and admit we had Steve Foley on, who, an all-time great. A little bit before my time, but I'm a stat guy, so I kept up with him, and I watched him play his last 6 years in the NFL when I was little. But, we were talking about Tom Dempsey, and you were talking about being at Tulane Stadium with your dad.
I had the opportunity to go a few times, and great place to play. Obviously, the Superdome is too. But like I told you, I was at the game that Tom Dempsey kicked the longest field goal in NFL history when I was little. But I actually left right before he kicked it because I had a leg brace on, so my dad wanted to get us out and beat the crowd. So, but it was a great place to go see a game.
I want to mention I ran into Tom Dempsey in a restaurant locally about a month ago, and when I heard the name, I said, "You're the kicker from the Saints," and he said, "Yeah, I'm visiting from Metairie to eat at this restaurant, and I'm going to plug the restaurant, Rufino's." And Ruffin Rodrigue brought me up to him. He said, "I'm Tom." And he said, "Man, I'll tell you a story." He said, "I was cut from my high school football team in California because the kicker got hurt, and they had to have a kicker, so they got him by default to kick." And that's the rest of the story. I mean, couldn't even be the starter at his high school, and he's an all-time leading field goal kicker. That record stood for what? 34 years now?
Oh, yeah, a long time. And had half a foot.
Yeah.
So he was one of the first disabled people, not too disabled, obviously.
Yeah, and he kicked it in the environment. He kicked it in the dome.
Oh, yeah.
He
He's
kicked it
open air against, the Detroit Lions?
Detroit Lions, I think. I wasn't there, but I was born that year, though, Coach. I think 70, or 69.
I was just a few years before that.
But I want to mention you're ranked #1 in the state. Your team, St. John. That's a great thing. There's a lot of pressure with being #1. Talk about the ranking and your team. Talk about where you are with your team, because a lot of people don't understand the first 4 or 5 games are developing an identity.
Right. Well, being ranked is, it's not like college where it matters where you're ranked, even preseason, to have a shot at that championship. But in high school with the PowerPoints, it's good for the different communities that get ranked in the top 10 or top 5 or 1. But really, most of the people hadn't seen you play. It's just word of mouth, and it's what they think going in. But obviously, I think the kids are playing well, and we're not going to shy away from it. I'd rather be there than not. But right. But it's played out in the playoffs. There's several good teams, and got to be hot at the right time, get the right breaks,
Well, 2 of your recruits, 2 of your kids are going to come on tonight. Corey Davie, right?
Correct. Corey Davie.
I said it wrong earlier. And Ryan
Suarez,
yeah. They're coming on, but you got some other kids that you want to talk about. Your new receiver that came in from another high school?
Well, we have a couple of kids that came when North Louisville shut down. And, if they had their druthers, they'd be playing at their school. But Stephen Williams and Casey Toussaint and Tredrick James, 3 kids that came over, all really good kids. 2 of them are seniors, so it's really unfortunate for them. But they fit in well. Great kids that we already had. They're good kids, and it's just amazing. You can go about anywhere, not just St. John. Kids are good kids.
And I want to mention this. You were at St. Michael's for 7 years. Did a good job, built the program up, and stayed there a long time. Now you're at St. John, and you had the same problem you had at St. Michael's, which I'm not saying a problem, but people think when you're ranked high, you got 90 players on the team.
Right.
You don't have 90 players.
No, we